Oh, wait. Huh, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How you guys doing, man? It's so good to be here. How's he doing?
Good, James.
Good.
I always rock out. These guys see me in the green room. I'm back here just get the blood pumping, get the motion, get the what's the momentum going. So it's good to be here. Good to have everybody here. Another week. So this another day, another dollar. What is it? Another week. another.
For us, another day, another dollar.
So yeah, it's good to be here. And glad everybody's joining us. You know what? I didn't put a whole lot of forethought in today's live stream. I've kind of been that way. This is like slowly but surely each week I've planned less and less and less, simply because we have such a finite amount of things that we're waiting to happen and that we're working on. And so, yeah. Yeah, we do have some updates. And I'm going to answer some questions today from off of Discord. I may even scroll through some questions today. Cece, if you could go ahead, highlight some of the really good comments. But if you see a question, if you see really good thought out questions that are going to help kind of move our narrative, go ahead and log those, because we may go ahead and try to answer some additional questions today. I will say we're not going to be able to get to all of the questions. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about questions today, actually, and how we need to look at communication moving forward from the Mastermind Council, from the management team, and from our ambassadors in the community. All of this, we want to get this energy and this momentum that just kind of feeds on its, it's not a feeding frenzy, but it's just a nice support system. So we're going to talk about some of those things here a little bit. But first, we're going to go ahead and give a little update. So we're still polishing up the governance policies, mainly, again, still waiting for the state to come back with any questions, with any clarifications. They may want to see our governance policies, so we're making sure they're ready to be shown, but we're still editing through them. But they are extensive, and this really is the playbook, if you will, for the DAO. The governance policies is the playbook, and the bylaws are the governing rules that manage that playbook, and that playbook has to sorry, forgot to put my phone on do not disturb.
It literally just reminded me as well.
Which that was a text from Fides. Aiden is born. So we have a new Axion DAO member. He's about this big, but that's awesome. No, so good to hear. What was I saying? The governance policies. So all of this, once we relaunch on Base, these are things that we will rarely have to go back and reconsider. And so we're going through these with a fine-tooth comb, if you will. And waiting for some of our some feedback from the attorney. And all of these things are playing into exactly where we're at right now. So I did make some slight changes to this migration timeline. We are in the process of fine-tuning a date to initiate the countdown to Snapshot. So what that means is, once we launch the countdown to Snapshot, we're going to be putting out a lot of messages, a lot of announcements. And everybody's basically, you're going to have 10 days to go through anything that you've had on Polygon and just make sure you have a clear picture of what your holdings on Polygon look like. When we freeze the snapshot, you'll still be able to look at all of these things, but you won't be able to adjust anything once we get through that, once we do that snapshot, because we're going to also be pausing the contracts on Polygon. So
is just before we go any further, just for clarity's sake, is anyone going to have to do any action individually before the snapshot?
Before the snapshot, no. Well, if you have stakes that are matured, you should manage those. So you will either want to withdraw them or restate them. It just really depends on your own personal preferences and what that looks like and how that looks. You want to go to support.axiondao.com. You got to read through the tokenomics, and we're going to have all of these messages are going to be going out almost daily for 10 days. We're going to be hounding people to do this. So we're going to leave it so that there's really no room for people to say, I didn't hear. If you didn't hear, you weren't paying attention, because we're going to have it going out on X, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're going to have it going out on Medium. We're going to be sending email blasts. We're going to be, we're just going to be dropping stuff every day leading up to that snapshot. So, but that's really kind of where we're at. We're waiting to where we can comfortably say, okay, here's when our snapshot's going to be. So I do anticipate our timeline is going to be adjusted a little bit, but it's directly related. At this point, it's directly related to our conversations with the state, our conversations with the attorney, getting our snapshot set up, getting our ratification vote set up to approve the bylaws. All of these things are about to come and hit pretty fast and furious. So, why does that keep going on? Okay.
Just as we were chatting just before, I think that's it, isn't it? Like, it's as soon as we've had that confirmation / ratification, that's all we're waiting for a timeline to be put in place. The rest of the timeline is in place. We just need that first thing so that we know the dates that sit on that timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're at, and it's frustrating and exciting and frustrating and exciting, essentially.
It is. It's really, I mean, I'm just going to share this with you guys. I mean, it's a weight that I carry on my shoulders. I do. And I'm losing sleep over it. I'm not in a bad place, though. This is pretty much, it's defined everything I do. Everything I do on a daily basis is centered on this. Everything about this rules what I'm doing in my own personal life. Scheduling and just looking at, things that we're doing with our family. I got family in town right now. So, but yeah, we're waiting for this final clarification. So, that's kind of where we're at. But what I do want to do, I do want to spend, and I'm going to go ahead and drop our first word here. Because what we're creating is a decentralized autonomous, and this word autonomous is important. Okay, this word autonomous is important. Why is this important? I'm going to go over to Discord. I'm going to go into our concerns and questions. We have a couple of recent questions, and I'm going to answer them. So MB is asking, I try again, because he's asked a couple times, who is the developer of the contracts? Okay, so because we are, and so through the state of Utah, we are entitled to be autonomous, but we are not entitled to be autonomous to the state. So all the actors, all of the anybody who is directly related with the DAO, whether it's the management team, the mastermind council, or I guess management team, mastermind council, and anybody who has direct tie into the DAO is fully doxxed, not just to the team, they're doxxed to the attorney. And if they're on the bylaws or if they're in the mastermind council, they're going to be doxxed to the state of Utah. Now, through the Utah DAO Act, we can have those names redacted publicly. That is where this autonomous or the anonymity comes in. I'm actually really excited to say that pretty much everybody on the mastermind council so far, and this is going to be a provisional council. The first year we'll have a provisional council, and after the first year we'll have our first rounds of actual votes to fill the mastermind council and to manage the ecosystem. So including the management team, everybody is agreed to not be doxxed because this is a historical document. So which is really incredible. It really speaks volumes to those who are participating in this project. What I want to say here, Emby, is that we will not name names if those people do not wish to be known publicly. But those people are known, meaning we've seen their IDs, we've verified their identity, they are doxxed to our attorney, and they are doxxed to the state of Utah. So should anything go wrong in the future, should it appear as though anybody has done anything inappropriate, should a lawsuit ensue or should charges ensue, the state of Utah is going to turn with a simple court order, the state of Utah is going to turn those names over to the authorities. So that's all I'm going to say to that. Okay. We're not going to get into this habit of naming names, especially when we're actually working with several developers at this point. We've had at least 3 different developers working on the UI, 2 different developers working on the contracts. So, and then we've got the management team, and all of that's being done in-house. So that answers that question. And then there's another question. Are there any metrics or dashboards showing what impact these games, activities, initiatives are having on the price? So this is what I call a baited question.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the market lately? I mean, what I will say to this question, though, is when we started this, we had over 9,000 members on Discord. We've breached 20,000 a couple of times. With our security guy, we've gone in and we've removed well over 5,000 members from our Discord, whether it was determined they were bots or just old dead accounts. Have all been removed. So we've removed over 5,000 people since we started this whole campaign, which means in theory, we started with 4,000 members in practice. And right now we're over 20,000. So our engagement on X is through the roof. Our participation on Discord is at or above the levels it once was for Axion. We have people turning out for our games. There's a lot of engagement. There's a lot of people out there. We have almost 4,000. You know what? I need to check this real quick, and I can. So I'm going to check this. I'm going to check 2 different metrics here. I can't tell how many people have the AXND server tag. But what I can say is that we have 6,167 apprentices. To become an apprentice, you have to either A, adopt the server tag, or B, participate in our games, or we have certain quests. We had certain quests early on that would give you the apprentice role, but now it's almost specifically related to the AXND server tag. So we have over 6,000 members now with the AXND server tag, and they're out there on other servers. They're out there engaging in the different communities that they love. And we're going to actually be having an AXND server tag challenge coming up. So I don't know. And so I actually expect there's more than 6,000 that have the AXND server tag, because a lot of our OGs, when they come in, they see that and they add the AXND server tag. What that does is, as you're engaging on other servers, as you're engaging in day-to-day communication or play or whatever you're doing on Discord, whatever communities you're part of, when you make a comment, when you participate in a conversation, everybody sees that AXND server tag. And so the more they see that server tag, the more they're going to be like, what is that? And yeah, we've had people come over because they said they saw people in other servers with the server tag and they wanted to see what this was about. So, and there's so much more, and there are more statistics that I can throw at this. Our daily engagement. I wonder if we can throw this up. I haven't done this in a while, so we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this live.
Okay? I think once you have a look at those engagement stats, I think just to talk on the Axion price specifically, and I think we should do. I think that there's not going to be any major movement up or down until after things, begin to move over to base in any way, shape, or form. And we'd like to think up, of course we would. But nothing's really going to happen because we're in a period of certain uncertainty. We know that nothing's going to happen until this given point, and our community's aware of that because we've communicated it all the way through. So there's no real drive for the market. There's no real demand being pushed by Axion at the moment, because our attention is on getting the project moved over to a different blockchain, getting the regulatory DAO framework set up so that when we move over to base, we're in a position to drive the token, to drive the features of the DAO that we want to introduce, and encourage more people to join in and to participate with the token. That's where we're at from a price perspective, and I think most people are aware of that. So it's not something that's discussed regularly for that reason, because again, we communicate what's going on with the project. Anyway, I'm sharp about that now.
No, I appreciate that. And I just realized something, because I've had a lot of people comment on this. I'm going to go ahead. Let me do something real quick. So I put this up, and I'm realizing why people are having a hard time with it is because it's small. So I am going to do that. So that was our first word in this process, autonomous.
That's the first time I've known what the actual word is without you saying it.
I just realized, it's the best laid plans of mice and men. I just realized, a lot of people watch these on their small, devices.
I'm like this.
And I'm small in the corner. So, okay. So that was the first one. I'm going to go ahead. So I am going to drop so we are waiting. I'm going to go ahead and do this way, this one time. So this is our second word. But I'm waiting. So we're waiting for the state so that we can initiate our countdown to Snapshot. So that's the second word. Okay. So, but here's the thing. We have 1,323. This is weekly. Okay. This is weekly. 1,323 average weekly visitors. 2,322 average monthly visitors. Now we've been up as high as 5,000, and it does ebb and flow. And then our daily, so we only have 200 people visiting a day. It's down 44%. So what's that? 300 and something a day. So this is where. So here, weekly, we have 453 people coming in and saying hi or participating in the games or whatever they might. We've had a total in the last week. We've had a total of 8,209 messages dropped. So this is where this is what we need as we approach our migration, and nothing is going to happen to the price of Axion until after we've migrated, until after we've shown everything else that's coming behind that migration. And so I always look at questions like that as just slightly baited. And here's the thing about if you're willing to ask a sincere, honest question that doesn't have a predetermined opinion or attitude behind it when you ask that question, we're going to answer that question. If it's obvious that what you're doing is digging or trying to incite discord on Discord. I've always thought about that. Discord on Discord. Two different meanings, right?
Discord, yeah, Discord. Well, it was about Discord, but to traditional chat engines at the time. That's what it was about. Anyway, let's not get into that.
So it's to eliminate Discord, though, right? I mean, so
everything has its own place, right? But it's all individual. So it's anyway.
So I think it's important to know, because I've said this before. We serve the greater whole. We serve the community. And there are going to be questions that will be asked that we may simply say, watch this live stream. Watch this live stream, and you'll know why we haven't answered your question. This is, in fact, I think how I personally, I think the biggest reason this community embraced me as I was stepping into this role and kind of taking the helm and starting to give some additional leadership and some additional support was that I was never, and I have never been afraid of a hard question. Do I look at some questions as suspect? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most questions, even back then, were baited questions, but we never didn't answer them, and we never got rid of them or hid them. And so this is what our OGs need to hear. We're not going to change that behavior. In fact, everything we're doing with these bylaws and everything we're doing with the governance policies is so you know what you're agreeing to, and we know what we're agreeing to do for you. And so you're not going to see these random spikes in behavior or these random changes to the protocol because we wake up one day and we think we have an idea. Now, we might wake up one day with an idea, but we're going to pursue them much differently than they have ever been pursued in the past. And that's what's critical. And so I hope for those who are still, looking at what we're doing as suspect, because we have had several people kind of grump at how long it's taken, including us. We grump amongst ourselves. The bottom line, and Big Bear has put it this way, and by the way, Big Bear, he's got some family stuff that he's taking care of today, so he's excused. I forgot to say that up front, but he's well, he's fine. He's just taking care of some family stuff today. But he's often said, we're not going to do this until the ducks are truly actually lined up and ready to march forward. Which for DeFi, that's an uncommon behavior, I think. So we're a couple of minutes away from our current engagement opportunity, and I'll be dropping the final quiz word. I'm going to start calling them quiz words because that's really what they are. We are building an Axion DAO quiz that we'll be doing on our extended game days, and so I do hope to have that done for the next extended game day, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is 2 weeks from Saturday. So got 2 weeks to get that ready. I don't know. Any thoughts, guys, based on what you've heard so far? I was thinking about looking over here in the whale group because I know
I've actually been looking through some of the questions, so I've got some ready when you want me to throw them up.
Yeah, if you have some that you feel we could go ahead and.
Sorry, Dave.
I was just going to be facetious and ask you when it was all going to happen, Metal. So we may as well hit the YouTube questions. I've got about 10 minutes. By the way, lads, just to let you know.
Well, it's the first one then.
So, what is your plan to implement your marketing strategy to make Axion Network become more and more popular? Great question. Very ambiguous. Very broad. Is ambiguous the right word?
No, it's broad and ambiguous. I mean, it's the quick answer is everything that we're doing with the campaigns and using the base that we've built over the last 6 months to help push out our message and to reward the people that are sharing the message that we've got. That's our broad answer to a very broad question. And there's other marketing opportunities that I know Metal's looked into in the past, and he might want to go into more detail on some of them, but yeah.
Well, some of them, I'm going to be honest with you, some of them we're going to keep close to the cuff because part of the impact and part of the success of a marketing campaign is not letting the cat out of the bag too early. So, but with that, I have mentioned in the past that, and this is one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Once the state has accepted the bylaws, once that filing is complete, once we know a very, very specific date for migration, once we have some of these ducks that are out there quacking and floating around in the lake, once we have them in line, we're going to be sending out press releases to the larger media outlets. I work with someone, and I have worked with someone in the past who has personal access to a lot of the newsrooms on a level where if it comes from them or if it comes from us collectively, it will get read when it comes through. And so we are looking to take the message of this DAO, how we're doing it, how we're registering it with the state of Utah, and we're looking at making it global news. So that's just one thing. That's the one thing I will mention. But some of the other things I think are best kept in the waiting room, if you will, so that when we do unlock those doors and we do open up those campaigns, they will have far more impact and they will have far more excitement behind them. So
the only other thing that I'd add to what we've said is that, you know, there are a number of people, projects that are named as our partners that we've worked in the past that we'll be looking to work with, as well as our community. Like, they're the things that we've spoken about a lot, and these relationships that we've built with our community, re-strengthened with our older community and the new community that come on board, and the same with these partners that we've worked with for a long time, are all designed to help push out this launch, or we've got plans to utilize those opportunities, is maybe a better way of saying it.
Right. Yeah. And so to speak to this one, what are the so this is actually a great question here. What are the criteria for the qualifications during Snapshot? Snapshot is only for our historical holder. If you hold AXN in your wallet, or if you are staked in the Axion Network ecosystem, the Snapshot applies to you. This is not like a whitelist. This is not anything. If you're not a holder of the token, the Snapshot means nothing to you yet. But that means that if you want to get in before the migration, then you need to either A, purchase AXN and hold it in your wallet, or B, you need to stake what AXN you have in the staking ecosystem. when we take the snapshot, that's what we're doing. We're actually taking a snapshot of the liquid holding and of the stakes, so that when people go to claim their holdings on Polygon, we will have we'll have all of the numbers, and we'll be able to do the math, and we'll be able to get that all done. And that's going to be, and one of the biggest reasons we're going to have an extended period between the snapshot and the actual migration, because we're going to be testing during that time. We're going to make sure that as people claim, that the numbers all work. And if there's any issues, that we can resolve those before migration. So, and that's the main thing that we're going to be testing now, is that the migration snapshot. And we can't do that until we actually do that. So everything else has been tested. Everything else is working as intended. We've had some ideas that we're going to be looking at incorporating, and some tweaks that we're going to make. But the main thing that we're working on right now is the governance contracts and how that claim process will actually play out. Will there be a safety checklist pop-up integrated into the staking UI? I'm not sure what that means, but what it means to me when I read that is there will be notices that pop up, making sure that you know what you're doing. There will be pop-ups that will actually, if you want to be guided to the next step, if you want it, we'll have little pop-ups that go through a nice tutorial, both a tutorial in our documents and a tutorial that will be more of a pop-up tutorial, and you'll be able to turn it on or off. So if you've gone through that tutorial and you don't want to see all of those pop-ups anymore, you'll just turn it off. So I think to me, that's going to be the safety checklist, if you will. But we're also going to be incorporating opportunities for people to take little mini courses to earn XP, to earn AXND. All of these things will be done so that as you go through, because ultimately, as members of the DAO, and especially once we have access to fundraising, launches, etc., there will be a process with which you will have to show you understand what you're doing, and that you've learned everything you need to learn to make educated decisions and to make educated choices in how you interact on the blockchain. So we are going to have those mechanisms in place. I don't know that some of those will be ready as the tutorial that I'm talking about, but some of those will come as we develop out, once we're finally through this kind of foundational process.
And just to add to that, there's so many additional security measures available now before you click 3 transactions with all of the wallets. And if they meant, pop-ups on wallets, then that's outside of Axion's control. Like if it flags with a warning, that's outside of Axion's control. And then the final point again is this is decentralized. It's in the wording of what we want to do. There has to be a level of self-responsibility that we're encouraging, in line with the ethos of the industry and everything else that we want to achieve. So there is going to be a level of self-responsibility, and you have people having to be accountable for their actions within the DAO, whether it's staking or getting involved with funding opportunities in the future. It's going to be individual responsibility.
Right. And then to this question about emergency unstake, there will be a process with which you can unstake a stake in the DAO, but there will be a penalty involved in that. It will not be as high as it was on the Axion network system, but there's still going to be a penalty involved. So you'll be able to do that without team. So the whole idea about being autonomous and decentralized is that you don't have to wait for someone on the team to help you. Now, with that said, if you've had a wallet compromised, we will have a mechanism in place where you can go in and verify your identity even deeper, where we can go in and verify that you are the owner of that wallet. And then if we go through that process and we've documented it, we will have a process in place where we can migrate your stakes to a different wallet address. But that will probably only last for the first couple of months after we migrate. And we will market that. We will advertise it. We'll let people know that if you've ever had a compromised wallet in the past, we're looking at a lot of mechanisms when it comes to matured stakes that were never claimed, when it comes to claims that, you know, that were hit up with penalties. All of these things, we're going to be looking at ways that we can manage all of that via a contract as opposed to human intervention. What we have acknowledged as a team is that this goal of being truly decentralized, that's our third quiz word.
What a segue.
Yeah.
On that delightful segue, though, I must depart.
Okay.
And I will catch you all soon. Take care.
Yeah. Take care, Dave.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us, Dave. So the idea of being decentralized is kind of a misnomer. To truly become decentralized is going to take some work, but that's the beauty of this. Is as we build, once we migrate, we're going to have, I want to say 90% of everything that happens in the DAO will be completely autonomous. Okay. However, there will be things like this that will require hands-on time and attention. Now, we may in the future write contracts that manage that too. You know, we are going to be incorporating AI, which is just a fancy word for a computer program. We've had AI since the 50s, but now AI all of a sudden is very popular. So, but we are going to look at ways to incorporate mechanisms like this. So within a couple of months, we may have that process fully automated. Okay. So we're going to be looking at things like that on a case-by-case basis as we grow. Is there a minimum amount to hold or stake? No, unless, I mean, that's kind of a yes and no question. There will be a minimum for actually participating in the DAO. It's not going to be great though. It's not going to be high, but you're not going to be able to just stake one AXND and have a very, promising vote. But no, there's no minimums on that. So if you add $10 a month, $20 a month, $5 a month, $3 a month, whatever you're doing, and that's the thing is you can actually you can add stakes and they will compound. So those are the things that we're looking at. Is there any more? Because I'm kind of ready to play out. I was going to go over and look at the whale group.
I'm scrolling through. There's other bits and pieces, but nothing that stands out, to be honest, James. I'll have one more quick look. Any decent question, guys? Just throw it in there so I can have a look at the last questions.
Yeah.
Seems about it, James.
All right, go ahead and pull that off. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go ahead and play us out. that's pretty. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to go over. I don't think so. So tomorrow we're going to have our Gartic game day, and then let me just double check something.
Actually, there was one more there, James. I'll just say it. So someone was asking, are you going to add any more games apart from the Garlic game on the Discord? Is it going to be any additional games?
So Discord is doing a lot to encourage community gaming. And so we're actually doing some research into that right now. The problem is it's usually for small groups. And we have a big group. And that's a problem I don't mind having. But we are looking for other things that we can do. If you have suggestions, you can go drop it into the suggestions channel on Discord. But we are looking to incorporate more. I'm actually looking to do some showcase gaming on the server. I'm not going to say any more than that right now. But I'm putting together, well, I'm not going to say any more about that now, and I want to tell everybody about it. Anyway, so it's one of my favorite games. I'm putting together a team, and we're going to be playing on and behalf and for the DAO. And it's going to be more exhibition. So we're going to be doing some exhibition tournaments, and we'll be broadcasting them here on Discord, on Kick, maybe even Twitch. And that goes back to the whole marketing thing. You know, what are we doing for marketing? We're going to be doing a lot of what's called guerrilla marketing. So guerrilla marketing is where you're just out there doing, and you're out there getting your name out there. You're out there participating in stuff. You're sharing, you're getting people excited. You're getting people involved. You're giving people things to do. And everybody can participate in that marketing. So that's what guerrilla marketing is. A lot of what we're doing through Zeely is guerrilla marketing. It's some of the funnest marketing is that style of marketing. So these are the things we're going to be looking at moving forward, opportunities to really kind of get some higher ended higher ended engagement with our community. So great questions. Let's see here. All right. Let me see if I can pull these up. And then you've got a bunch starred. Okay, sweet. All right, everybody. So join us tomorrow for Gartic. And we might scratch that. We might have a town hall Sunday. Don't hold my feet to the fire. I still have family in town, still balancing a couple of things. And we're waiting for our good news, if you will. So anything else you want to share there, Cece?
No, you've covered it all, James.
Okay. Then here's what we're going to do. You remember this?
Yes.
Okay, here's the real one. I mean, that's the real one, but
we blasting off tonight.
There it is.
Axion DAO in the cloud with the crowd in the frenzy. Pound in the ground, engine sound like a Benz G. In Kamalans horizon, the skylines lit. Rocket climb like a rhyme when the lines all hit. Doing D5 better, together forever. Meta rides more like leather than pleather. Migration to base, the flight plans drawn. The future is now. Yeah, the mic stays on. Got a 50K giveaway. Big today. Don't fade from the news, man. You okay? Doing D5 better. Together we stay. We're just getting started. Hear the crowd say, hey, Axion DAO. boosters ignite. Income island, they rockets take flight. Octane flame, every launch stays vital. 50K flip, got the grip on the title. Meta rides drift with the lift on lock. Every tick-tock click, push the rocket clock. This is next-gen flex on the ledger page. Axion DAO, future set center stage. Got a 50K giveaway, big today. Don't fake from the news, man, you okay. Doing DeFi better, together we stay. We're just getting started, hear the crowd say, hey, Axion DAO, those engines lit. Migration to base, the perfect fit. Future of crypto in a brand new way. Axion DAO, 50K giveaway. 50K giveaway.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I actually came across a question. I'm going to throw this up. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. We ready to ignite.
Hang on.
We blasting off tonight.
The default is to just repeat the song. Okay, let's hope. I hope I can find this comment. Okay, there was a question here, and I'm gonna answer this. How can users verify they are talking to a real Axion DAO admin and not a scammer? We have a support tickets on Discord. We do not answer questions in private DMs. We do not reach out to anybody who is asking questions through DMs. I do not accept friend requests from people I don't know through DMs. If you have a question, go to the Axion Discord, open a support ticket, and I promise you, you're going to be talking to an official person. So that's what you need. That is really important because we're actually seeing, CC, I don't know if you've noticed this, but oh my gosh, we have gotten so many people, especially on Telegram, popping up with mirror sites or fake sites and fake support and fake people and fake posts. I think by now, traditional DeFi people should know better that if someone is reaching out to you privately, most likely that's not someone you want to talk to. So stay safe out there, everybody. Have an awesome afternoon, evening. We'll see you tomorrow for games at the Axion Arcade for Gartic. We'll have some fun stuff going around. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some spectator opportunities around that tomorrow. Okay. So look for some of those quests and quizzes on Zeely, and we'll be moving forward from there. So have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. An even better weekend. And now I'm doing everything myself. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. No, here. Okay. Found it.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.